Still thinking about and working on some SVG animation stuff. So that'll be kind of the casual focus for the day. Yeah, otherwise nothing really going on, just relaxing and having a go at my programming. So that'll be a good Friday, I think. It's always fun to just do some fun things, not some strictly work things. And as it turns out, this SVG stuff I'm in the middle of will probably be quite transferable anyway, so that's nice, to say the least. Yeah. Alright, let's just get into it and see what I can come up with for the day. Okay. Before I... Wait, no, never mind. Need to build a new computer for myself soon. Things are a little slow and that's starting to get tedious. A little bit tedious. But enough of that. Okay, so I've got... I'm in the middle of, well, a few things here. So I've got Inkscape here open, and I have this is the letter B, obviously. Got the pinwheel. Not sure why that is. That's a little bit of bad news. I suppose it's crashed. Let's go ahead and just close it. Not that important for right now. Ignore. I was trying to show, I've got, I made the letter B there, just a path. So if I vim b.svg, this whole thing is just straight line segments that produce the path. But what I want to do is pull that into my REPL, my Clojure instance, and convert it to a path data structure that I can use, my library, to 3D transform the points and get different views and do an extrusion and stuff like that. So I have things in a straight line segment, but I need to get point data. And one little issue with that, let me just make sure that things are working. One issue with that is if I look at the string that is the path data here, it has a few V and H calls, which basically means, so L has an X and a Y value, is a line from your previous point to that point, but V has only a Y value and H has only an X value. But I need pairs of X. I need to have data in the form of a pair of X, Y values like this. So I've been scrounging up, I've been putting together a little thing here, a little set of functions that that helps me convert any sets of H or V calls into L calls. But since they rely on the previous position, the previous, like you need to look back into the data to find the values and stuff like that. My chat window is extremely slow right now. Just gotta hope for the best here. This is a slight tangent for a minute though, but yesterday I was working with animations and stuff like that, and I managed to get this transparent WebM animation from my pipeline, which I'm extremely pleased about. It's really quite nice. Jeez. Let me just mess around with some windows here for a second. Yeah. Oh, one day things will load for me, and that'll be a good day. Yeah, so this WebM format, it looks really crisp. It's really nice. I did try to convert this to a GIF, and I know there are ways to make transparent GIF animations, but I haven't come up with a way to make it look nice yet. So this animation I have here is a step in the right direction toward me having my own sort of programmed animations for Twitch alerts and stuff like that, which should be really cool when it works, or when that's done. Yeah, so let me just give me 1 second here. I need to second guessing myself here. Okay, so the stream's working, which is obviously important. You could try this. What I'm doing right now is just, I have my stream up on my dev computer here, and I'm just checking. Yeah, okay, things are more or less working, and it's good. It's just the chat window on the computer that I'm actually streaming from is taking its taking its sweet time in loading. So I was just a little nervous that things weren't working okay, but everything appears to be caught up. So I'm gonna get back into it. Okay. Things look pretty okay. If you were watching and just waiting for me to do anything useful, apologies for that. Let's see, now that things are pretty much okay, let's see if I can get into the swing of things here. Nothing is working for me today. What is going on? Boy, I'm thinking of putting together a new PC, or well, not PC, a new build for a computer, and going and doing the Arch Linux thing or something like that, where I kind of build up the OS from the more fundamentals. I guess I configure it more personally so that I have better window managers and faster hardware and stuff like that, so things aren't chugging along. That would be pretty nice. I'd be happy with that. But that is definitely a tangent. Okay, what I am in the middle of doing is, okay, I've got this sort of work in progress code here, and it's meant to help take an SVG path into a set of points that I can put through my rendering approach here. And let's slow this down a little bit. So I can add pardon me, so I can make more advanced looking shapes here, maybe to make some fun looking animations. So that's the idea. We'll see how it goes. I have this little setup here that takes the string. I have this b-path SVG, so if I print b string to my terminal, or my REPL I should say, it's just a path tag, very simple. Then I'm right here defining BD, or pardon me, yeah. Sorry, step back from that. So that's the string, and I have a parse there, which will, if I do, I also have bparse defined, and that is a hiccup data structure, which starts with HTML, head, body, and then here the path element is right there. And all I need is this, let's see here, get path here, right? I only need this piece of data, and technically I only need the string, that's the D value here, because everything else, for the sake of the pipeline I'm working on, everything else can be discarded. Like if there were other properties in the path, potentially they'd be like scaling factors and things like that, which might be useful, but the way I built this path in Inkscape lets me assume that there's nothing there anyway. It's all absolute values, all the transforms are gone and everything like that. So it's pretty straightforward. I can just basically look at this directly. So if I do get path of bparse, it gives me just the path data structure there. And so that's all that these things are. And then this here, get in 1D, just pulls the string, the D string, like I was saying. So BD is just a short form name variable name that has the string that I'm manipulating now. And so it's just straight lines, but I need to have it in the form of M followed by L, 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 L calls. ZM pair like this indicates a that it's a separate path inside the path. So like a whole. So the letter B has the outline of the B and then the outline of the whole. So this here is one path, and then this here is another. So that's easy to split on Z, because Z indicates a close, like it's a terminate sort of thing. But like I said briefly earlier, there are these calls here. So L is nice because it's all XY pairs, but V, vertical, and H, horizontal, calls have only an X or a Y component to it. So I can't recreate a point value unless I look back to the nearest L or M or the nearest prior point. And in a case where there's a bunch of V and H calls in a row, you have to look back a bunch. And so that was the problem I've been working on, and I don't know if this is the smartest way to do it, but this is a method I've come up with so far. So I have a little I have just this little fake sub test here to kind of mock up the problem. So we've got M, which is fine, then we have L, which is a line from 0, 0 to 49, 120. The values don't matter, it's just a matter of testing. But right here I have a V, and a V. And so I have this set of functions now that I have this VH to L that works on a sequence, which is a split of a path string. It's split by commands, basically. So I just take a take a cleaned up string, and I guess I technically should have this on a new. Anyway, it does. So this clean path thing here does some trims and replaces any alphanumeric characters except for the letter E, lowercase. Replaces it with itself plus a new line, and then does another trim, and then does a split lines, so that I get every element in this list from the split lines will start with the letter, the command, so an M or a V or an L or a Z, and then it'll have the numbers associated with that argument. So that's a pretty useful structure. What I do then, I also realize this is actually not complete. I want to finish up this thinking, but anyway, where I'm at now is taking this. I have a function that looks for any situation that has an LV pair like this, and then it will convert that to an LL pair, basically. So if I do this, VH to L, it'll find the first instance where that happens and only change that. So if I do VH to L of AA, it successfully merges, like it replaces this first vertical call with an L call that will be equivalent. And it does that by, I realized it actually did it wrong, but that's just a matter of me switching things around. But point is, it does, I inverted the vertical and horizontal logic here. So let me double check that I'm doing things right. So what I would have expected to see is 49,122 if I had done it right. So something's wrong, which is not a big deal. I just have to fix it, right? So let me just check here. If I call V to L on this pair, okay, that's correct. What did I do wrong here? So I've got, I must have something, there must be something wrong here. If I do, let's take first of, let's do second AA. I made a mistake here. Is this equal to the character? It is not. That's the issue I have. If I do this, string, there we go. Now they're equal. So what I have to do here, I'm just dispatching on the first letter. If I do this, that should fix that problem. And I should now successfully work for, where am I at here? Here. Okay. Still no, eh? Huh. Okay. Let me think about this just for a second. Did I not Okay. Step back here for a minute. Could compare it against the character literal. Hi, by the way, hope you're doing well. Yeah, I think you might be right. I mean, you're definitely right, that would work. I just want to see if I just have to follow my logic here, see if I'm actually correct. Okay. This works. It turns a V into this L with the right, with the X and the Y components correct. Now, I thought that this would work, and it's still not, so I do have something going wrong here. Oh, I put the string in the wrong spot. Right, so I need it to be out here. That'll change it. But you're also correct that I could do, how does that work again? Char V. No, you have to do it like this. I guess you don't need to write. Yeah, so you could instead of running string on it, you're totally correct. You could do it just like this. If first VH equals \V, that should work exactly like you're saying. Yeah, -V, yeah. I feel like you're arriving at these conclusions a few seconds before me, and I'm just not reading the chat quick enough. Anyway, thanks for the participation, of course. That's always helpful. Okay, there we go. So you were exactly correct. This is working. Just so I'm just gonna do my approach too, just to double check that I'm not going crazy. Although this wouldn't rule it out, it would just prove that I was also thinking about it properly there. But let's not mess with it that way. Let's just do it like this. I actually don't know what I mean, I'm not working on like a critically important bit of code here, so it doesn't really matter. But I actually don't know what would be a more correct approach here. I mean, like really, if you wanted to be thorough, you could have a function that converts any string, like it would take a string L with this and turn it into something like this, type L x 0 y 0, but then it's in a Clojure data structure, but I don't want to do that, so I'm gonna not worry about that for right now. So what I do need to figure out is, I know I've got a null pointer issue going on, and I can explain that in just a minute. Now that I have VH to L working, I believe, on this sequence of path operations, right? If we look at, so this is the original, there's an M, an L, and a V, but when I run this once, it goes M, L, L, V, which is exactly what I want. And now, if I do it again, oh, sorry, just gotta change my watch there. If I run it on itself like this, what? Why is that? Oh, because I typoed. Right, so we've got, okay, this is a little confusing. So we've got the original. If we run it once, we have one replacement here. If we run it on itself again, we have the second replacement, and these are all working correctly. They're all V calls, so they all have the Y component changing, but the X component is effectively borrowed from the first L call, so that is going to be the same there. And if I do it one more time, it'll get that last one. So there is a setup for running functions repeatedly over its previous output like that. It's called iterate. So iterate works, it's like an infinite sequence. So what I have to do is, if I basically, for this test case, I know I have to take, I think it's 4 from, well, I have to take the last from take 4 of, wait a second, I believe maybe, no. Okay, last take 4 from iterate VH to L over AA. That should work. Yes. So that has successfully converted this path sequence to one that only has L calls, which is exactly what I wanted. The trouble here is I want to have a function that I can give any sequence length to. So I have to figure out a way to calculate the iterations to do on it, or for it to compare. Like what I could do is have, I want something that'll do the iterations and compare the current iteration to the past iteration, and as soon as the prior iteration is equal to the current, then you know you can stop iterating. And I did look it up. There is this function here, or this setup here from good old Stack Overflow, from 2015. user Magos. Actually, I forgot to copy the share link as a reference, but let me where is the share link? Is there such a thing anymore? Why am I incompetent? Share, there we go. Copy link. Perfect. Okay, so let me add a tiny bit of where am I? Oh yeah, here. Here we go. Okay, that's good. It's always, I think, a good idea to keep, if you have ideas or little snippets from places on the internet, it's usually wise. Well, one, it's nice, I think, important to give credit to people who provide things that you're using. It's always nice. But second of all, even if you do it for entirely selfish reasons, like you don't care at all about other people, it's nice to have references to where the ideas came from at all. So you win twice when you put those things in there. I could also, this is a tangent, but I do have this is an org file, so I can just type normally here. So it might make sense to the reduced usage was explained nicely by Magos here, and is used in Lineify below to stop iteration once VH are all converted to L. And then I can delete the comment from there, and that should work just fine as well, so why not? Okay, so the problem I have though is this should theoretically work, but it will give a null pointer exception, which is bad, but also good because it gives me something to work on. And that null pointer exception does not happen here. It comes about because of this setup here. So if I define B to be last of take 4 of iterate VH to L of AA BB, this now is a completely converted path sequence. So if I run VH to L on this, in my ideal world, it would return the sequence completely unchanged, but it provides a null pointer exception here. And that is related to, I do believe, this here. I have an increment index. Hey Mike, I'm doing well today. How are you? Thanks for tuning in. I'm in the middle of following null pointer exceptions, which is fun. I'm pretty sure I know why. It's probably related to trying to get an index that's out of bounds here. Yeah. Mike, actually, this is a tangent for a moment. I believe it was you that you suggested maybe I should make like a be right back sort of animation or whatever with my 3D library for those times where I'm getting myself coffee or whatever. Well, that's kind of what I'm working on today. I have figured out a pipeline to make smooth looking animations with at least the wireframe rendering, and eventually, like, it will work once I have a good working surface renderer. It'll work with that as well. So I'm in the middle now of trying to make a more complicated SVG path that I could start making little animations with actual text and stuff like that. So that's what I'm in the middle of. And turns out there's always little gotchas here and there, but it's fun to kind of progress bit by bit. Looks real smooth. Some good progress there. Yeah, I'm pleased with it. Now, I will say it's arguably pretty hacky because how do I, well, here, I won't run it, but the basic idea is, well, Inkscape I'm not using at the moment, but here I've got, this was the attempt at an animation. This is what produced these functions here. This model function and the anim2 function create PNG images per frame. So the model itself here returns an SVG data structure per a single frame, and I've hard coded in here, I'm assuming, so this animation is 1,000 frames long, and I'm doing rotates, I'm doing the frame divided by 1,000 gives you a fractional value times 360, which means in the total time it'll turn around smooth and all that. Anyway, that's fine-ish, but then the animation just dumps a PNG, and so this particular one literally creates 1,000 PNG images, and then I run an FFmpeg to smush it together again. So it's not exactly like clean, nor is it necessarily efficient, but it does work and it is fun. So I'm pretty pleased with it anyway. And you know, for a nice animation that can kind of loop forever, it's okay to have a slow computation that's done at the start and then it's all baked in at the end. So I'm pretty happy with it, all said and done. But today is a little bit of work on cleaning up paths. That's necessary so that I can actually start making more complicated shapes here. Let's see. I just need to prevent this from doing anything when the index would go out of bounds. If you're not writing enterprise-grade software and you're just using it for quick personal reasons, it does not need to be the best anyway. Can't tell the number of times I've written inefficient Python scripts because I needed them for a one-off thing. Yeah, that makes complete sense. It's a big part of engineering, and I like software engineering, computer engineering, or any kind of engineering, is kind of finding those situations where you really want to keep in mind the actual context in which a solution will be used. I have a mechanical background, so if you're building a jig that's going to be used to weld a total of 10 things for internal use on the weekends at a shop, how hard do you want to work on the jig design, right? Would you even make a jig design at all? Or would you say just use a clamp instead, right? You don't want to over-engineer it because the context is such that it'll only be used in this particular space. And a lot of engineering is really paying attention to those contexts. So that you say that about this as an example, the software I'm writing, makes a lot of sense to me. It is still a weird feeling though to just declare something good enough, you know? I always know the spots where it is, you know, cut corners and stuff, and those are the spots that I pay attention to, even though it's fine in a lot of cases. But that's totally a me thing, right? It's a skill I need to learn. But when it comes to this animation stuff, it's just fun. I love 3D graphics, and I love that I'm actually stumbling my way through and making my own, call it a rendering pipeline, if you will. That's just cool. I'm happy with it. I like it. Okay. Let's have a look here. Let's change this function now. Let's see here. Let's go to, let's just return the index. Oop. Don't need that. And let's run this and see. Okay, so that. Okay. Let me just return pairs. Okay. It's still, oh, I have to do this then, I guess, eh? Index doesn't exist in this context. I'm trying to be lazy and it's not working in my favor right now. Whoops. Let's just do it this way. Whoop. Let's go like this. Okay. What? Something went wrong, I think. Oh. Problem exists in chair. If you're having fun, that's all that matters for these projects. Keeps the drive going and such. Yeah, I think that's a good point. That is always important. Okay, so pairs works just fine. This here, if I do indices of VH-pair of pairs, of not pairs, of this. Okay, it's empty. Right, so if I do first on an empty sequence, does that give me an error? No, it gives me nil. Okay, so index is not nil though? Why is that not working? That's peculiar to me. Oh, wait a second. Did I do something wrong? Okay. Index. Okay, I would expect this to say nil now. Okay, that's good. So here, oh, let's see. So I had a when index here, but that's actually wrong. I should do if index. Then I want to do this, but if not index, I want you to just return S. Let's see now if this works. I hope to see not that. Huh, okay. Index is nil, is it not? Okay, it's here. This is where the problem's happening. Oh, of course, right. I'm trying to take nth of pairs of index. I have to do it here. when index. Okay. And it should return the same list now. Okay, so now that that's working for me, I do believe that lineify should just work on my AA structure. So AA is this. It's got L and 3V calls here. Well, calls is the wrong, instructions maybe is the right, or ops. It's got 3 V's in it. And what I want to do is run lineify on AA and let it work. Yes. Okay. That's really nice. Now, I have this string BD, which is the original. Let me go to, oh yeah, A is a longer test case. Let's lineify A and see if it works. It appears to work. Okay, let's count A. It has 65 calls to it. Is that correct? Huh. I guess so. And now let's count lineify A. It should also have 65. Okay, things are looking okay. Let's just do last lineify A just to make sure. That should still be the Z. Yeah. All right. That's, I'm pretty sure, a good step in the right direction. So, what next? Okay. I want to get some visuals on the screen soon because I'm not sure that what I'm doing actually makes a lot of sense if you're just trying to follow along. It's just numbers flying around on the screen. Okay, so let's actually. Oh, I notice I have an inconsistency here. I'm using S to indicate a string here, and here, but here I'm using it to indicate a sequence. That's not good. And I can't just do stir, and I can't just do seek either, because those are actually functions, so it's a little confusing to do it that way. Ugh. I don't like it. Let's just do this. I don't need everything to be that short. S can be sequences, that's fine with me. Oh, wait, there is also if I do, oh yeah, map's not take from a collection, seek. Oh, it just uses X. Huh. Whatever. Whatever. Okay. Oh, let me actually move this into this. Split this. Okay. Right. Let's finish this now. I've got split lines here, which has transformed the string, cleaned it up there, split it into a sequence, which is in the correct form to run lineify, lineify, right? Yes, good. Lineify. Maybe a horrible name for a function, but I couldn't think of anything else, so there it is. Right, so if I lineify that sequence, it produces a sequence that has only L's in it and M's, and it should be valid. And then, what do I want to do at that point? Let's see. Okay. Basically, I want to reconstitute this into just a string with no no new lines. So what I can do is just apply string to that, right? That's good. That should be good, actually. I should be able to just do apply string. This is annoying. This is one thing. I love the threading macros. They're really nice. But sometimes if you have a transform that if most of the things, you're threading through the first argument, but if there's a function that has things as the last argument, it can be messy looking. And I don't like that, right? Like this, I'm basically wrapping a function in a lambda to sort of force the order of the arguments around to get it to look like I want it to. But let's see if this will work. So I've got BD is the path string. If I do clean path BD, wrong number of arguments, it's one argument? Okay, I did something wrong. Well, let's see. Let's walk myself back for a minute here. Let's do that. Oh, of course. I forgot to put the argument. There we go. Okay, this should work now, I hope. Okay, that looks good. Let me just check this too. If I do read string of this string, gotta get rid of that comma. Does that turn into a number properly? Number. True. Okay, that looks fine. Okay. I think that should be fine, right? Let me just do count split path, clean path, BD, 2. Perfect. Okay. All right. let's see now if I can wrap that back into an SVG and display that SVG on the good old screen here. Okay, so to do that, what I want to do is this. SVG should work on the content. Let's make the content first. Also, I'm realizing that I have a misnomer here. Let's instead do this as sure, importing paths, I guess, is kind of right. Okay. Let's go here and define B model to be, let me be lazy today and copy the model I was using for this. Images, util, video. That's not it, scratch animation. Here we go. Okay, let's use this as a starting point. B model is similar to this model. Let's also deafen that. B model. There we go. And okay, the object is going to be it's not going to be this. It's going to be something a little different. F/extrude expects a path. So, or it actually expects F/polygon, which now I have to make from I need a new path string to points. Oh, wait a second. I think actually if I do SVG / path string to points, path to points, I think that'll work. Let's try it. Clean string BD. No. Oh, it's clean path, of course. Whoa, it worked. At least I think it did. Okay, that's exciting. So let's go ahead and put that into here. Let's do SVG / path to points of clean path BD. Okay, using that, I should be able to extrude. Let's only extrude it by 80, say. And we'll just leave everything else the same for fun. Okay, so this function now should, given, let's say, frame 250, it should return, no, it doesn't work. Okay, that's fine. I also want 80, not 800. Okay, what is wrong with this? Contains point null. Unfortunately, I might have to cheat a little bit here. What I'm going to try now is first of split path try that instead. Still right. There's a few things I have to do here. Okay, let's reconfigure this just ever so slightly. I'm going to start this transformation sequence with the string BD. I'm going to run that through clean path, which is a function. Run that through split path. Take the first path off of that and just worry about the outline or the inline, whichever one is first. And then here, what's the next thing to do? Oh yes, that's right. I have to go run a map function. I have to do map v. I think I have the function add z, right? F slash I thought I had a function that would add a 0 to the end of a 2D point, but apparently not. Well, that's fine. Let's do add z to point. All that's got to do is conj onto a onto 1, 2 and the value. Yeah, that's it. Right? Yeah. Wait a second, what am I doing? I've just confused myself for no reason. Why is my brain farting right now? Z conj onto Z 0. Yes. Does that make sense? That should make sense, right? Z's wrong, it should actually be point. That's why I was confusing myself. There, okay, so map that function over that. Okay, right? That should make all of the points three-dimensional, and then you should be able to run polygon on that. Let's see if that makes sense. Nested anonymous functions are not allowed. Yeah, okay. That's fair. Conj onto point 0. So instead of this, map add z to wait, what did I do wrong now? Did define this, right? Yeah. Confused. Partial map v add z. Okay. I don't know. I might have just that might have just been a brain fart on my part there. Okay, there's new problems. Character cannot be cast to class. Oh. Of course, I'm completely forgetting to actually transform this. Clean path, split path, first from the split path. Now, here is where I do SVG slash path to points, right? Right? Yeah. SVG path to points. Hey. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so what I'm trying to do here, Mike, the hash signs, so actually I don't know how familiar you are with Clojure. Presumably you know it reasonably well, right? Like the hash signs in general is just a syntax for an anonymous function, which is equivalent to doing this, right? Like function this ends up being exactly the same. I'm just trying to, in this case here, I was trying to map. It's like I have to, this function add z runs on just one point element, but I need to run it over the sequence that I'm passing into the function. So you can't nest two anonymous functions, I guess, is the rule. And I don't know, maybe I was just typoing something without realizing it. I'm not sure. But this does work. This partial turns this into a function, right? Where now that function has only one argument needed, and that is the sequence. So you can just pass that through and it's working again. So that's fine. Maybe it's even a little cleaner. I don't know. But we actually do have an output from this, which is pretty bonkers. So what I'm going to do is actually write an SVG file here with the name output/wow, and I'll do model, B model I should say, B model frame 250. Okay, and now I can navigate to wow.svg. Huh, that's very anticlimactic. Let's do this one. Well, that's a shame. Bit of a shame. Let's. Yeah, so close, or I thought I was so close. Let's do frame 1 here and see what this looks like unrotated. Well, that's not helpful at all. This is strange. Okay. So what I think is happening is, well, one, the animation of this thing is, the rotation position of it is dependent on the frame that I pass in. That's why this is hopping around. What I think this is, if I extrude it just 2 and rebuild this, I'm pretty sure that is just a really, right now it's a skewed angle of the, actually let me, oh no. B, okay, this is the path that I'm trying to bring into and extrude into 3D space. And I think this here is the extrusion of the inner portion. That's just this here. And not the outer line segments. And there's a problem when I do this related to Delaunay triangulation. And I'm guessing because this, the polygon that traces this path is concave, like it's not perfectly convex. This point goes inward here. I'm guessing that is causing errors with the Delaunay triangulation approach that I was using before. That's a bit of a bummer. What can I do instead? What can I do instead? Right, because this I expect this to fail now. Null pointer. Right. Oh. Maybe I get more detail here. Nope. Okay. I think let's figure out where this goes wrong. Right? So I can run this B model nil Kind of hard to debug when all you have is a null pointer on line 1 of the REPL. Yeah, it's not the most helpful. Clojure is often criticized for having bad error messaging. Often it's bad because it just gives you a lot of stuff that doesn't really make sense. But every once in a while it's bad because it gives you essentially nothing. But I think I know where to go with this, because I think it's related to how I am implementing boundary representation surfaces, and I think my assumptions are catching up with me in a negative way now. Wait, what? How did... Oh. Let's do this. This will break now. Yes. Okay. So now what I can do is just like switch off different elements of this until I don't get errors, and then I can kind of track down the spots where there are errors. Okay, so we happen to know that the extrude has errors. I kind of suspect that even the polygon will have errors. Yeah. So now I'm going to guess here that things will actually give me yeah, okay. Well, because that's just a list of points now. Okay, so the problem is in the f/polygon function, and I'm almost certain it's related to the fact that if I go back to this here, it's related to me trying to run a simple sort of naive triangulation algorithm on a path that's not purely convex. If I were to modify this path, and instead of having a sharp corner here, if I drew a line like this, and likewise smooth this out to be just straight, my guess is that these errors would go away. So it's related to, I'm pretty sure, how I implemented the triangulation, which is a bit of a bummer because I'm not sure I have the brain energy to try that. You could try it with a capital D to confirm, right? Oh, that's actually smart. That's clever. I like it. Now, in order to do that, which I will happily do, it's a really good idea, I need to mess around with Inkscape just a little bit, because I have not yet figured out a way to automate what I have to do here. While it loads, I'm going to go, well, it has loaded. I'll be back. I'm going to go to the washroom for a minute. I won't be long, but I'll explain what I have to do manually in just a second. Okay, so actually, yeah, let's just go ahead and do this. So, not sure if anyone watching has used Inkscape before. I really do like it. I think it's open source. If not open source, it's at least free to use. I'm pretty sure it is open source though. Very powerful, but you know, there's little things here and there that I find weird. It takes a while to get used to as well, but that's all part of the deal. Okay, document properties is what I need to go use here. Display units in pixels should be fine. Pixels here. Let's change this 500, 500. That should be good. The little window size change things are not an Inkscape thing. They're a My Window Manager thing. So if that looks really strange to you, that's my fault. Okay, capital D. Let's stretch it out. Here should be fine. Okay, let's also align it centered here to the page. That should be good. Okay, so this is the stuff I have to do. Inkscape has like it saves everything to SVG, but it uses its own sort of, I guess, property tags and stuff like that to keep track of more rich data, so that if you open up an SVG in Inkscape, it can do more advanced tools and things. But I don't need, or I cannot use, a text element for what I'm trying to do here. I need this text element to be converted into a path, so I have to do that. And I can do object here, path here, object to path. Right now this is no longer a text element. I can't click on it and change the letter, but now I can go to the node tool and see these nodes here. That indicates that it's now actually a path element being used. So what I can do now, the next thing I need is, for the way my extrude is currently working, I can only do it on straight segments, on polygons, and this is being approximated by curved elements, which you can see by stretching things out like that. So what I need to do is select them all, and I want to actually add a few nodes in between segments. So it basically will do, it's adding data into the path here. There are more nodes now, and what I can do now, I'm actually going to add some nodes on the end here. Should be fine, and some nodes here as well. Okay, and now if I select them all and turn them all segments into straight line segments, it's now just two simple paths that I can now run through my thing, my path cleaning thing, and theoretically get it working. So I just have to save it now. And I want to save it as that. That should be fine. Okay. Now, let's just go vim d.svg. Wait, sorry. What I'll do is copy dpath.svg. I'm doing things wrong. There we go. Okay. Now, vim d-path.svg. Let's just delete a bunch of this. What's happening here? Oh, okay. I was a little confused there. Style, I can get rid of that. All I have is D is that. It looks pretty well formed. Oh, there's a problem though. Okay, these are, I have relative values in here. I only want absolute, so I think I have to save it again. Preferences. Here. I was certain I saved this, but maybe I have to save it. Do I want force repeat as well? Yeah, for simplicity that makes sense to me. Okay, let's go with that and let's save this. Hopefully that's what I need. I don't know why I bothered to save the edits, because before I go, let's have a look here. Okay, that looks good. They're all capital. There's some V's and H's in there, but I can work with that. Okay. Delays. Okay, path. I know there are smart ways to use Vim to like be way faster, but I haven't learned Vim yet. I mean, to be honest, I haven't properly learned everything about Emacs either, so. Okay. Oh, oops. Beautiful. If you want to delete from the current line to the start of the file, you can just go to that line, type D followed by GG. Well, let's try that. Let me oh, there's only one. Oh, great. Let's open the original and just mess with this for a second. See, that's the thing. I like Vim. I do want to learn it actually. I think it's probably nice to know a bunch of different editors and to be reasonably fast in all of them. But like I haven't forced myself to use it long enough to memorize everything. So what you're describing seems straightforward. It's just not stored up in the brain, you know? Okay, so if I want to delete from current line to start a file, type D for delete, and GG, I guess, brings your cursor all the way back to the start, or something like that. So if I just type GG, yeah, okay. So if I do DGG, oh, it deletes the line too. Ooh, what's undo again? I don't remember what undo is. Well, doesn't matter. Anyway, so that's cool. That's good to know. Capital G is bottom of file, undo is U. Oh, that makes good sense. Let's hop in here one more time. Oh, found a swap file. Abort. No. Edit anyway. There we go. That's what I want. Okay, so let's just mess around one more time. Just to get a quick feel. Okay. DGG, and then undo. Beautiful. All right. Wait, I don't want to write that. I just want to quit that. There we go. Thanks for the quick tutorial. There's lots to learn yet. I did, this is a tangent and I'm just going to go on it for a minute because why not? If I go to, where did I save it? If I do downloads / neo target release neovide. I haven't used this yet, it just seemed cool. This is a Rust. Let's make it its own window just for kicks. This is a Rust front end for NeoVim. It looked pretty neat. The thing that got me was, I don't know if you can see that, but when you're it like is smoothly animating your cursor around, and that seemed cool to me. So anyway, I downloaded it with the potential idea of setting it up to look nice and then actually learning Vim properly, but I haven't done that yet. So but like the cursor is like it looks really smooth is I guess the joy of it. Yeah, do you see that? It popped to the lower. That's just a neat, that's a clever idea as an animation. I thought it was anyway. Oh yeah. Anyway, a total tangent. If you're curious about that, neovide GitHub. This is what I had found. It was this animation that got me. this GIF here. It's like, oh, that looks cool. Yeah, so I've barely breached the surface of this. I managed to just do this last night, the Mac install. All right, back to my little problems here. Okay. Right, so I now have the d-path SVG file, which I'm going to use up here, and I'm going to make dd Wait a second, let's do this the fun way again. Let's define this as a thread first macro where I take output / slurp output / d-path.svg. Okay. And what do I do with it? Oh, wait a second, I can actually do this even. I'm not sure, what is more readable, to just put everything out in a line like that. I don't know what I like better. hickory slash parse hickory slash as hiccup first get path. Yeah, I think, yeah. And then get in 1D gets me this string. When I should maybe give it a name or symbol. That might be a good idea. See if that worked. Oh, it did. Cool. And let me actually go over here. Right, DD. This has a wrong name now, but that's okay. Will it work? It still does not work. Huh, okay. I'm a little bit bummed out by that one, to be honest. Well, let's try the first one here. Oh, wait a second. Let's try this now. Well, shoot. Okay. Well, what I can do, since I'm mangling this all anyway, I can try f/brep polygon. What does the polygon function do? Maybe it's missing data. Yeah, I'm being lazy trying to figure it out before I go there, but that's not a function. The polygon function builds a data structure. Actually, I could actually run it. Polygon from a list of points. So if I do a triangle, like a really simple triangle, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, right? That creates this data structure. And where I'm pretty sure it's going wrong is that the history thing is whatever. The frep function might be messing up. The vertices would obviously be fine. And the curves, I think, would be fine. And the surfaces are probably messing up. So if I could run a modified polygon function, actually, you know what? Let's go to the proper source thing for a second here. Forge.org. Okay, if I go here to polygon, this is the function I'm calling here. Oops. And it's just kind of aggregating different function calls into a data structure that is the idea is I can rely on it, but I think some things are going wrong. Well, I know things are going wrong. That's not a helpful thing to say. Let's go here. So let's do, okay, let's build out a case that I can use a little bit. No, that's foolish. Let's leave that like that. Let's make a new one. Def ASDF is thread DD through a few functions to test around with. Clean path, split path, first, why didn't I do this right away? My brain is being weird today. Okay. So ASDF is a list of points that I can use to kind of test things around. If I go f/, what I'm going to do here is bit by bit here call the different functions of this polygon function just to see if I can find a particular element that is not working. So frep-polygon of ASDF, I expect it to fail because I think the way I've implemented frep polygon actually relies on some triangulation. Okay, so that is not working. Good to know. Let's try to run this little thing. Map v apply f/brep line over the partition 2.1 not of points but of ASDF. Okay, that worked. Now let's okay, so I had two ideas in my head. One, the way around this, because I'm a little bit lazy right now, is to copy the source of the polygon function and just do the stuff I need, which is actually just the curves, because the render curves part here. Oh no, that's not entirely accurate. I was gonna say I only need to focus on the curves part of the function call because I do know the render curves function only looks at that data anyway, and maybe also the vertices, I don't remember, but it does not need to pull from the frep. But I can't remember. I think the way I did translate and rotate and stuff like that, it expects a functional representation function to exist. So what I could maybe do is make a fake polygon. I'm going to try this, where I'm going to just put frep is identity as a function and see if that sort of cheat lets me get somewhere here. Fake polygon points. Let's give it a shot. Let's also avoid the history thing because I don't technically need it. I know that one I can just get rid of entirely. Well, actually, let's see if I can get away with just this. Curves is just map v apply f/brep line to the set partition 2.1 of conj vec points to first points so that it loops them all around again is all that's doing. Okay, that's curves. Okay. Let's see if that will work. Okay. Well, before I jump the gun on that, okay. All right. Hey, that's... Is that correct? I suppose it is. Okay, let's keep that one like that. Okay, let's try and extrude 2. Hey, there we go. We're getting somewhere. Cool. Let's just run the whole thing. Let's see what happens. Okay, looks like we're kind of on the right track. Let's try to not split them either and see if that'll do things the way I expect. Okay. It's looking okay. So the real thing is related to, if I follow back the logic here, this function frep polygon, if I look at this, it's up here. What it's doing is taking the list of points and it's trying to run a Delaunay triangulation algorithm over the set of points. That will get me a list of triangles, and then what I do is run a functional representation union of all of the triangles that are formed by an frep dash triangle. But the set of points, ASDF here, if I run Delaunay forge.Delaunay slash triangulate on those points, this I expect will give me a null pointer. There we go. The problem exists in the triangulation, and I thought it was related to convexity, but I guess there's more for me to dig into with that algorithm, which actually makes sense because I did only... Oh. I have to just back my brain up a second here. I forget if I maybe triangulation will work, but it's expecting 2D points. Regular I'm confusing myself a little bit here. No, that's not it. Okay. I was just very briefly wondering if the triangulation thing actually required that they were just 2D points, because I have only run the triangulation in 2D. But that's very clearly not the case. Anyway, so I have to look at the implementation there. There's a lot of work to do, which is fine. Okay. Let's make this an SVG. What did I call it? Wow. Output / wow. Ridiculous. B-model, let's do 100. Wow, okay. That's not very informative. Neither is that. I'm not sure I understand what's going on. Okay. Well, while this is happening, let's actually run with B again. Oops. Hey, that's all wrong. I love it. Looks correct actually. Need to get a good rotation on it. What if you return 0, like it's a starting point? I don't know if 0 will return anything more helpful. You might be right though. Let's switch this back to the letter D. The 0th frame from all the frames you are able to render. I don't quite follow what you're saying here. I'm gonna, which is fine. It's just, I'm sure it's just me not following exactly, but let me, I'm gonna make a half animation here. I'm gonna run a few frames and just kind of look at them. Instead of just trying to guess things, I'll just let the computer kind of brute force it a little bit. That's fun. Right, so animation. Let's not do the PMap. Actually, let's do that. Why not? I don't know if it's actually faster. It's definitely not smooth. But let's go like this. Okay. Let's only do a range of 1,000, but we'll step it every 10 frames. So, and instead of running with model, we're going to run with B model, which at this point is a horrible misnomer and nothing makes sense. Is this going to work? So, you see this on the taskbar here? What's happening is, so I use PMap, so it spawns a whole whack of processes in one go, and those processes, I didn't know that it was doing this, but well, maybe that's all of them already. Yeah, it is. Okay, let's open up the reason it spawns so many Inkscape things is I was doing PMap to run the function in parallel over the sequence, but I have a function that uses shell calls to convert. It saves a PNG file, it saves an SVG file, calls to ImageMagick to convert that PNG, to convert that SVG into a PNG, and I did not know this, but when you have Inkscape installed on the command line, ImageMagick will use it to convert SVG to PNG, which is great, but anytime you run an Inkscape command, it shows up in the taskbar, so it just goes, spawns a whole bunch of them. So it's not a particularly robust solution. I don't really like that it does that. things kind of make sense. I also I don't know what happened here. Something doesn't seem to make sense to me here. I wonder. Okay. I'm letting myself get a little lost here. I hope everyone can bear with me in that regard. Let's redefine animation 3 to output. Let's remove all the PNGs. Let's do a range 1 to 1000 with a step of 2, and we'll run that. And just for good measure, I am gonna quit Inkscape outright. VLC, I should also close. See that? It does look kind of cool. It's not great though. But I don't know why it's only doing the correct number of frames, right? Like it's stepping correctly. I wonder if there's an error that occurs. Well, let's I no longer know what I'm doing. I've lost the plot. That's okay. It's exploratory programming at this point. That's sure that counts. Okay. Ooh, look at that. Okay. So, okay. I think now it's actually creating all of those frames as opposed to just, yeah, it is. So, that's a little weird. So I admit I don't actually know. I've not really practiced anything with PMAT or other parallelization approaches. This was a very naive attempt. But it looks like it only did it once when I have these two set calls here. For some reason. I don't know why that is, but that's okay. I have to figure that out. But what I do know is I have to figure out, I need to remove the Inkscape stuff from the pipeline one way or another, or figure out a way to prevent it from spawning all of these icons here, because it looks ridiculous. Unfortunately, that's kind of, I think that's just how Inkscape ends up working. There's a lot of things, I tried scripting it a little bit, and there's a lot of verb actions that you can call but require the UI to be active, which means it's not great for batch process work in general. So I'm not totally convinced that it's the smart tool to use, even though it is really powerful. Okay, here we have 500 frames. Okay, so with that, now I can run this webm command that I have somewhere in here. One day I'll organize this. Okay. This is crisp. Oh, I forgot, I haven't made this into a good thing yet. Ugh. Okay. Frame rate 60, sure. Take all the PNGs and put things output to create a output.webm. FFmpeg, do your thing. Oh, it's done? I'm a little skeptical. Zero. Okay, it didn't work. Alright. Let's have a look here. Oh, you know, it must be actually because the frames are not actually in pure sequence. I was kind of hoping it would be smart enough to figure it out on its own, but I guess not. So let's run out of time, unfortunately. Okay, let's try to get one little thing working. Let's get something. Let's extrude this to 25 as well for fun. Actually, no, let's extrude it to 80. No, 60. That's good. And then this is going to be minus 30. Let's just do it this way. Sure. Actually, no, this can probably still be, just leave it as 300. Smaller files would be a little better. Let's output from 1 to 500, and the step size can be 1 this time. Okay, let's give it one more shot. Let's build those frames. Oh, yes, of course, it won't work. Not the way I want it to anyway. Let me see, actually, let's run this. Overwrite it, yes. Okay. That doesn't look right at all. I love it. I have no idea what that is. Oh, that's great. Okay, but let's run this. And while it runs, I can think a little bit, maybe. Let's have a quick peek at the Delaney thing here. This is based off of someone's implementation here. This is working, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's go have a look for a moment at this triangulate function. Looks like it's extruding from the top of the D up, so it's like a rectangle because you're looking down on it, and that is being extruded. Trying to think here. You might be right. You might be right about that. This is a really backwards way for me to do visualization. Like I have a reagent, like I could make a reagent app and and display it in real time in the browser with like hot reloading feedback. That would actually be the smart way to do this. Honestly, I didn't expect things to go this sideways. So there will be some back to the drawing board stuff. But I kind of see your point. I do wonder if my assumptions about how I converted the horizontal and vertical calls into line calls directly, I wonder if I missed something in my assumptions there, and I'm actually morphing the path shape incorrectly. I don't know. It remains to be seen. Okay, I've got one more shot here to make a longer animation. It should loop a little more smoothly now, and I can slow down the playback speed, maybe. There we go. See, this is taking longer because there's actually 500 frames to compile here. Almost done. Boosh. It's hideous. I love it. Let's put that on loop and we'll slow it down. And we'll zoom in. It's my handiwork here. It's just wrong. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, so what? I have another little thing to do before I leave. I think I like the idea of what you're saying, where you think it might be extruding incorrectly, but what I'm gonna do, actually I wonder if I do oh man. I was hoping that my laziness would work there, but it's not it. Let's see if I can quickly try one thing. I have to go soon, about 10 minutes. Let's do this. Let's take DD right, let's do front view is just going to be drawing 2D like this of path where the D value is equal to the string None of my names make sense. It's all a big old mess, and that's okay. Alright, let's have a look at front view.svg. File not found. Oh, I made a mistake. I should have a check that if I type the file extension, it doesn't. That's strange. It's empty. What have I done? Huh. Strange. Oh, wait a second. No, that should be fine. What? I'm losing my mind. Oh, I didn't actually put the content in there. Ridiculous. Okay. So, this here, this clean path -dd should work in theory, because this is the path that I generated. It's working. Okay, so something goes wrong. Something goes wrong. Oh, Harold, thanks for following. I just noticed that. Out of curiosity, anyone who's tuned in and willing to engage in the chat if you'd like, I totally missed it. Was there a little animation above my screen here when there was a follow? Did the follow alert go off? I tried to set it up the other day, and I haven't experienced it in the wild yet. I've only experienced tests of it. So, hey Harold, thanks for the follow. Not sure if you caught that. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate that. Lisp? What about it? Do you like Lisp programming languages? Do you use any Lisp languages yourself? Whoa. Got a little bit of a problem here. There we go. No, you don't? Do you do programming at all? And if you do you have a language that you enjoy using? You know, feel free to keep chatting. If you don't want to though as well, that's totally fine. But I am curious. It's fun to hear what languages other people use. Android development. So you probably use, that's Java, right? I think it's Java. I forget what the main suite. Yeah, it is Java. There's like a whole Android development suite of tools or something like that, right? A little bit of Kotlin. Ooh, cool. I've not used Kotlin myself. It seems intriguing though. It seems pretty cool. Okay, so I want to see where things go. Also C++/C. and also Fortran. Oh man, bit of a polyglot, right? You know quite a few different languages, it seems. I guess there's similarities across them all, but it's cool that you know so many. Nice. Nice stuff. Okay. I want to see here if I can do this. First, split path, clean path. Wait a second, not the right function. There we go. Let's spit that out. See what that looks like. Hey, cool. Okay, that's what I thought. So if I now do the second path from here and spit that out. Yeah, it's the inner path. Okay, that's pretty cool. So that's working. You studied physics, that's why you know Fortran. Is Fortran used a lot in physics specifically? I mean, I know Fortran has a bit of, like, it's kind of got some historical relevance in a lot of fields, but I guess maybe it's really common in physics? I don't know. I have no idea what I'm talking about. That's pretty cool though. Physics and engineering. When I studied, when I was in undergrad for mechanical engineering, I learned C++, well, learned kind of loosely speaking. I wasn't that good at it at the time. And MATLAB. I personally never used Fortran, but I believe you for sure that it's all there. Science and advanced math as well. Yeah, also MATLAB too. Yeah. Well, right now I am thoroughly focused on Clojure, and keep an eye open for other languages that would be really cool to learn, that would make me kind of better as a problem solver in general. But Clojure is doing the trick for me for right now. Okay. Oh, it's Clojure. Oh yeah, sorry. I guess I didn't mention that. It's hard to tell between different Lisps. So it is a Lisp. It is not Common Lisp, of course. It is Clojure. So it's running on the JVM. Yeah. I happen to quite like it. It's a fun language, in my opinion, of course. Okay, I have to get going soon, but I want to try and think my way through what problems I'm facing here. Let's do one more thing here. Let's define ISO view and see if we can make something work for me here. So let the object be not a function. Let's just let it be here. Okay. There must be something wrong in the path to points setup. That would be my guess. But I digress. Let me try to follow this through just a little bit here. Let's rotate about 0, 0, 0 just to get a base. And let's translate 0, 0, 0 as well. Okay, that is the object definition. It is not a function. Oh no, I edited the wrong thing, like a chump. Okay, that was silly of me. Or did I? I'm losing my mind. My code is horribly messy right now. These are all messy experiments. This is a bad way to write code. I just want to try this one thing before I get going. That is really what I'm focusing my energy on for the time being, and I will fix my problems as I go. A little later, I should say. Okay. Oh, that's why my view is popping around a little bit. Looks like a nice language. Yeah, if you've not heard of Clojure or used Clojure before, obviously you've heard of it. I always recommend Clojure as a language worth learning a little bit, if not, just using it all the time. I think it's just fantastic. Rich Hickey, the creator, the original programmer of Clojure, is quite an intelligent and thoughtful person as well. So the language is pretty stable, very robust. It's just a well thought out language, in my opinion. So if you have the desire to learn a little bit or play around with a modern Lisp language, Clojure is always a good call. I love it. Of course, it's like every language, it's just a programming language, so take your pick for whatever reason you want, but I definitely like it. It's a lot of fun. Okay, before I leave, I'm going to try and get this thing to display in a way that makes sense to my brain so I can figure out the little bugs that are happening here. Too many arguments to def. That would be this being in the way. Will that work now? Okay. Let's give this bad boy a shot here. SVG, save it to output. Wow. Okay, this is gonna look weird. It's not gonna look like anything? Why is that? Ugh. Okay, nothing makes sense to me right now. I don't understand what is happening there, so let's try this. Okay. Well, something is definitely wrong. Either maybe wrong points here, and add Z shouldn't be an issue. Maybe polygon data structure wrong. Okay, those are my little notes to myself. Okay, it is basically time for me to go. Yeah, I have to get going. Not my most productive day ever, but if I go back to first animation.webm, here is an example that I'm going to leave on while I say goodbye of an animation that is possible with the code I'm writing here. So I know I can do it. It's just a matter of wrangling the data nicely, creating a better structure to the Scratch code I'm writing here, and cleaning up all the bits that I made bad assumptions on. So things around extrusion, things around, I will for sure need to make a more robust triangulation algorithm, which I knew I had to do eventually anyway. I was just putting it off because I didn't want to. And then making a better graphics handling, like a better pipeline, probably better file I/O. There's a lot of work to do, really, but I don't know. I'm still extremely happy with the past 2 days of work where I was able to get, you know, visual proof that I can actually make smooth animations with stuff. It's just a matter of kind of really wrangling in the issues, getting things working. But that will be it for me for now. Anyone who is still watching or has watched or will be watching later, I genuinely appreciate that. It's really nice. I really like doing my programming streams, and I intend to continue them. However, it's always nice to know that there are people who will come in, and I'd like to get the follower count up. I'd like to build this into something a little better, a little bigger, and a little more serious as time goes by. So if you're able to help in any way by sharing things, hey, Frosting Fire, thanks for the follow. I just also noticed that there's a little animation on the screen, so that's cool. Yeah, I'm on my way out today, so thanks for the follow, but I've got to get going soon. But anyway, if you can help with donations or Patreon, it's not, if you can't or don't want to, obviously that's totally fine, not a big deal. If you can and you feel compelled, that would be fantastic. I won't deny that money is a useful thing to have. Other ways that can help, just getting my count of cute Canadian streamers up. Hey, I'll take it. Thank you. Yeah, that I'm repeating myself and saying nothing useful. If you can help with donations. If you can't or don't want to, you can help with follows, you can help with sharing this around. Anything like that would be awesome. And no matter what, I hope you have a good day. I am going to log off. Goodbye.